What is going on? Yeah, this is Nate, the Great from Nate in Your States. Thank you very much for joining me this morning for a very impromptu live stream. Normally, I do pre recorded videos, but at this moment, I don't even have my editing equipment with me. But there's no excuse not to have an upload. You get what I'm saying? If you have a phone, you're more than capable of uploading by any means necessary, whether it's through live streams like this. And please forgive me for the noise in the background. It's kind of crazy. Whether it's live streams like this or free applications, whatever have you. And I'm highly anticipating going back inside as I'm doing this. All right, cool. Couple of things. Nice ambiance that we have right now. It's been cloudy here I don't know, every so often it's been cloudy. I didn't check if we're in the rainy season. I believe we are. Air quality is pretty good. I don't smell smoke, no smog. Has been quite hot. Wouldn't say there's any humidity, but it's been quite hot, especially wearing this hat everywhere. And someone popped in. All right. And for the most part, been pretty chill here in Medellin. Um, Yeah, I really can't complain for the most part. You know, it is as the nickname as most people gave it, the city of eternal spring, where it's like almost springtime. Look, birds are chirping and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's a good feeling. And I'm going live because it's the last day I'm here in this spot. So I'm not quite technically doxing myself, unless somebody who lives here is actually trying to gauge the background and figure out, oh, where's Nate? Let's go find Nate. Whatever, man. I'm here in Laureles, if you want to come pull up. Here in Laureles, here in Medellin. This is as much as you can see. I'm going someplace else. So, what I'll have to say is, from the last time I was here, I guess 2 years ago, up until now, things have drastically changed. You know, in terms of the prices and prices for food, and I don't know, pricing in general has up. You know, housing, food, transportation, entertainment, where it's like, man, if you want to go to the movies or go to like a bar or something, it's like, well, I haven't even done that yet. But if you go into a mall per se and you're hanging out in the mall, it's going to be like quite pricey compared to what I remember in Medellin a few years ago and a couple of years ago. And I have to say, I don't like it. You know, I kind of liked how things were a little bit more quiet and reserved, whereas things wasn't so expensive. But I guess there's a lot of tourists here, and I see a couple of tourists across the street too. Not particularly brothers, but tourists are out in the woodwork. And I assume because there's such an uptake in tourism now lately, there has been an uptake in prices for housing, food, whatever have you. And that also brings most of the bad guys too, stuff that you don't want to have to deal with when you're traveling. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for God that I haven't had a situation like that happen, and I'm not going to say never, but God be the glory. I'm fine. Right? And I honestly believe, based off of everything that I'm hearing, if it wasn't for my church praying for me, oh my gosh, I don't know what type of situation I'll be in. All I have to say is my mom has been praying, I know, my church been praying, so I'm grateful for that. And some friends that I've known from here, I think a lot of them have moved over to Europe. So good for them to find new life and refuge because things are over here have apparently been tough. And with a rugged ecosystem, economy, um, that brings forth roughneck people and rugged people that might want to take advantage or beg for a little extra, something here or there. So what was I going to say? I just went on a huge tangent though. But passport bros, is Colombia safe for passport bros? Shout out to Razor Rays. I've been watching a lot of his videos. I even watched a video and he had a live before I even got here. It was the day of the trip. He launched a video talking about that a tourist, I think it's an American tourist, was stabbed to death by his guest that he invited. And either that or he was rugged mob. Nevertheless, I digress wherever it may be. But I was like, dang, Rays, you gonna just drop this bomb right here? And you gonna just drop this out here while I'm out here, man? That ain't gonna make me feel uneasy. So, but I've been out here since Sunday, right? And from my observation, based on what I have to say about this topic, it depends. Is Colombia safe for passport? Is Colombia safe for passport bros? Not even just passport bros, but travelers, right? All right. So first things first, right? Let's backtrack. Let's backtrack. Passport bros. Let's talk about it. Is Colombia safe for passport bros? It depends. What are you have to define what a passport bro is. To this day, there is a lot of mixed definitions, and I think I'm not sure. Whoever coined the term, whoever invented the term, I'll call him whoever started the name of it has to be the leader. So whoever started that term of what it is, that person has the right to define what a passport bro is. So whoever came up with the name, whoever has it incorporated, copyright and whatever, that person who came up with the name has the right to define what a passport bro is. I know everybody else has their own definition, but that's the only truest way you can understand what or who are the passport bros. Generally speaking, from my observation and my ignorance, a passport bro, in my ignorance, generally speaking, are brothers going overseas, over the states, leaving the states, going overseas, possibly dating women. So I think that's my broad understanding of what a passport bro is. And I might, like I said, I'm ignorant on what the true title of a passport bro is. I don't know. Some say that it's just people traveling, trying to find, or men traveling, trying to find a better life overseas, whatever it may be. So that's why I say it depends, because you have to define what a passport bro is in order to get to the bottom of all of this, in terms of safety and all that. I like to call myself an adventure traveler. I like to be like, oh, what's this? What's this? Throw myself in there and figure stuff out. Granted, it's, like I said, thank God, I usually come out of some of these situations unscathed. I make friends. Everything seems cool with me. I have no issue. Thank God. But for other people, if you're here for like, let's say, all right, so it depends, right? If you're in certain areas that, are known to have high crime traffic, that's a fact that can be unfavorable for you. If you're here to using your money to solicit unfavorable or immoral sort of activity within an area that's known to be, let's say within an area that's known to be, well, if you use your money, cars, man, it's kind of loud. If you use your money to solicit whatever activity that may be, that's generally seen as immoral, you're more than likely to get yourself got versus somebody who, is just a regular tourist, a regular adventure traveler that's here or there, that's going to explore. Those people who do those type of things are more than likely to get themselves into a precarious situation. It is what it is. Same thing in the States. If you're in the hood and you buying whatever it is in the hood, you're more than likely to get yourself got by the police or got by other people that's selling you whatever it may be. So the same rules apply over here. Like if someone come over here and tries to sell you some stuff that you know it's immoral, it's pretty much unethical for yourself and everybody else in the community, uh, don't do it because then you get yourself in a very dangerous situation. However, if you want a safer place to do whatever that may be, I would say look for a different place that doesn't have high crime. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't want YouTube to snipe me. What is this guy talking about? But I'm being very careful what I say here on YouTube because I mean, hey, YouTube can demonetize channels or whatever. So whatever you want to use your imagination to make that, whatever that may be, yeah. So yeah, you hear a whole lot of stories of people getting got over here, people getting robbed, people getting killed. It's a sad situation that happens, especially innocent bystanders are just walking through. And I know a lot of us Americans, man, we can be so super macho when it comes to like people that want to check us. You know, there was a meme that went around where there was a gun being pulled out on some brother, right? I forgot how the joke goes. So a gun pulled out on some brother. The guy took the weapon, put it in his face. He said, "Yeah, go ahead, pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger." And then the meme flashed to what was it? I don't know if it was an effeminate guy chasing him, and he started to run away. But it was either child support, another effeminate man chasing him, or something that kind of alluded to the alphabet community or something like that. And the old boy was running. So it was like, yo, brother's more afraid of dying than. Anyway, I digress. So I know a lot of us are like, if someone really tries to check out gangster over here, like, yo, who the heck do you think you is? And then, you're like, you ain't gonna rob me and get away with it, because it's dehumanizing when something like that would happen. It's dehumanizing and it takes your masculinity, manhood. Like, yo, you just put me in a weak position. How dare you? But generally speaking, the safest course of action in those type of situations, if someone comes up on a motorcycle here and like sticks you up, even the U.S. travel glove says this. If you're being mugged, don't resist. Give up whatever you have in your pockets, and just your life is more valuable than whatever is replaceable in your pockets. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how I'd react in that situation because I said, Lord forbid, it happens to me, but it never has happened as I've been here. I'm always diligent. I have like a belt. I have a chain on my wallet. My wallet got a chain, so it's always attached to me. Occasionally I would hide valuable stuff in different areas, like along the body. So I kind of, and then, I don't usually walk the same pattern more than once because from what I noticed, Colombians like to steer and watch. So you kind of have to mix it up if you are a passport bro or a traveler in general moving around unknown or uncharted territories. Um, I've been chilling so far. I've been chilling. I've had no issues. Lord forbid, knock on wood. But I thank God everything's been all right. I've seen some brothers walking around in La Setenta, which is, I'm literally like the next block over. I've seen some brothers walking around with the chains. I've seen them walk around with earphones. I'm like, yo, what? Why? Why would you put yourself in a situation like that? I mean, I understand, but I know some people kind of like their jewelry. People like their jewels. People like their trinkets. Here's my trinket. People like their jewels. People like their trinkets. So, like, their sense of identity or who they are, right? But I wouldn't say it's worth it in a country where they can just take a life and don't even matter for them. For like 20 US dollars, they can take a life for it. And it lets you know the desperation that is out there on the streets. I'm going to have a video come out. I'm not sure how I'm going to edit it. since I don't have my main computers to edit. But we'll see if I can do this on this device. There's a video that's going to be kind of titled similar to this live, where it's like, is Colombia safe? And I'm walking around, El Central, and the things that I noticed in El Central, excuse me, what I noticed in El Central was that at a certain point there is a police blockade. Get that. Okay, we're good. There we go. There is a police blockade in. Is it working? Is it working? All right, whatever. So there's a police blockade in there in El Central, and that area is pretty much protected by the police. And outside that safe zone, the area with the fat statues, outside that safe zone, it becomes, I guess you have to be a little bit head on the swivel, P's and Q's. So I'm going to show you that eventually. I'll show you whatever, Lord's willing, I'll be able to show you that. I'll show you what it's like, I guess, 2 years later, and how people interact with each other. But here's a spoiler. I felt kind of okay down in crazy El Central. I was afraid of it a few years ago. A couple of years ago, I was afraid of El Central. Being back in El Central, I was like, oh, okay. It's pretty dope over here. Oh, swear. I'm like, okay. Some people still wearing masks. Okay, all right, cool. But yeah, I mean, I went, so here's what happened. The first time I went there, and I had my camera, it looked like the Wild Wild West. And I was like, nah, we out. And I took a taxi, because I wanted to say, you know what, let me go check out the museums. Let me see what else is here. I wanted to see a different side of Medellin, Colombia. And then I went, I was like, nah, this ain't for me, man. I'm out. And then this time, one of my friends down here who's still here, I have another friend that's living in the States, two other people that's living in the States, but one of them that's still here, she's like, oh, you've been to El Central? I've never been, because it's too peligroso for me. You know what I'm saying? I heard so many stories. She said, no, it's fine. You're going to be with me. I said, nah, man. She said, no, you're going to be with me. We went down there. I said, oh, it's actually not so bad. So El Central is going to be fun for y'all. I look like a gringo. She's pretty. Anywho, so El Central going to be fun for y'all, and certain parts you're going to be quite protected. Shopping is nice and bustling and got people around. Kind of like that. Kind of feels like an energized city. That's why I kind of like downtown, hustle and bustling when you shoulder to shoulder trying to record. It's pretty fun. But like I said, I'm fine. My backpack had a lock on it. This has a chain. My wallet has a chain. So I was chilling. I was generally chilling. I had no problems. But for the regular brother who, I guess, isn't familiar and just here for, I guess, the wrong reasons, whatever that may be, yeah, you're going to have a little bit of an issue. And, your chances of something happening may increase. But so I'll just say, be careful on what you do when you're out there. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no hate, but I mean, I gotta say tell it as it is. If you're here for wrong reasons, you will get got. There was a dude, like for instance, there was a dude that I was meeting up with. In Costa Rica. Thought it was some white dude. Thought it was an average cool white dude. I said, all right, cool. All right, we'll go to this bar. We'll hang out. We'll see what's up. Yo, dude, I think he snorted something. He forgot to link up with me. He said, yo, he got into something. He's going to have to leave. I said, yo, what happened? Got into something, I'm going to have to stay in for the night. I said, oh, man. So that's what I'm saying. It depends on what you're doing. If you're doing something that might be seen like a little bit unethical and immoral, you might get yourself in a little bit of trouble. That's pretty much as much as I can say without YouTube flagging so much this video. So, Yeah, I mean, shout out to the people that's watching. Don't forget to like this video if you're still here, and drop a comment and let me know your thoughts. But yeah, generally speaking, there's certain safety things that you have to follow to keep your, keep your head on a swivel per se, right? Keep yourself um, prepared, alert. I'm looking at the taxis, honking at the birds. And birds is like in the middle of the street. I'm like, yo, what you doing over there? You about to get ran over. Anywho, if it's your first time, bro, I don't even know. Because I would say go to Poblado because where all the gringos are at. But most of the danger that's been happening has been in Poblado. You know what I'm saying? There's a saying that says, if you want to catch fish, you got to go where the fish is. You know what I'm saying? The fishermen go to the pond to fish. So Poblado is pretty much where all the fish, the foreigners would be. So a lot of criminals would like to hit that area up. So I would say you would have to choose the next safest thing, the next safest location, in order to keep your head on the swivel and keep yourself safe and protected. So if you want to do Poblado, I would say try out Medellin, try out Morelos, try out Envigado, try out Sabaneta. Like go a little bit out the way, I personally like Envigado the most, though. I'm here in Morelos because Morelos is kind of it's still upscale, but it's not like you have like a ton of gringos around. It's upscale enough. This is where I guess the majority of the higher end native Colombians will live, where more other richer Colombians will be in Poblado. So yeah, that's why. So for me, I kind of like to blend in or hide in with the crowd. So you won't find me in a Poblado. I only stayed there once at a hostel. I didn't like it. I felt if you were if you looked at my old video, there was a video I said that yeah, I was afraid to go outside because of all the danger that I hear and what I've seen. You know what I'm saying? It felt like I always think like in the mind of a video game. So it's always felt like, oh man, I feel the danger. I feel the danger. Oh my gosh, I don't like being out here. I was trying to walk to Sweet Georgia Cafe and say, oh, it feels dangerous. Ah. But I just went there for kicks and giggles, and I went to Parque Jettis for the first time just to see what it was all about. I felt uncomfortable. I had some friends I wanted to see. That was the only time I went there because my friends wanted to see what it's like to us. Other than that, I have no business going there. So I wouldn't recommend going there by yourself. But if you're with a team of other people and you want to go to the club scene, go for it. Just make sure you keep mindful because the time that I was with my boys and they were one of them was a little bit borracha, a little bit, woozy or whatever have you. I was kind of behind them. I was trying to, navigate them, say, look, we need to get out this zone and fall back towards further down to Parque Poblado. We gotta move out the Jettis area and let's move further back. They was walking the wrong direction. I spotted two chicas maliciously talking to each other while speed walking to my boys. You know what I'm saying? They was like yo, it was going so I couldn't really make out what they were saying, but I noticed that. And there goes my two boys over there. One of them is a little drunk. The other one is pretty much keeping his head on the swivel, but not aware. But I'm watching her back. And I walked between the ladies. I'm like, hey, ¿qué más? Can we help you with something? Si puedes ayudar, que puedes ayudarles con algo, And I was like, oh, no, está bien. So something like that. And they walked away. I was like, fellas, did you not see what was about to happen here? Huh? So you have to be alert. You have to be alert. You got to keep your head in the swivel. You know what I'm saying? You got to bobble head all the way in the swivel, man. You got to make sure you're paying attention because you can get got so easily, man. And because we're tourists, we're tourists, we're strangers in a foreign land. We don't know. Most people don't know the location, don't know the terrain, and don't know how things run. So most of the locals, if there are locals there at all, you know what I'm saying, or the people that come from other countries to take advantage of people in this country. People not aware, so they'll take advantage and come, either pickpocket you or quickly slip something in your drink. You got to be careful. So, generally speaking, I say it depends. I can say, yeah, it's safe. I'm chilling. I'm chilling here in Lorellis, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. Knock on wood, Lord forbid, I haven't had an issue, but I'm chilling. I've been chilling for a while. So it really depends. It really depends. I don't do the club scene. I don't do that. I'm personally a person that enjoys doing most of my entertainment at malls. So whether the malls have like a gaming spot or the malls have like bowling or the malls have there's another spot that I like. That's why I generally love going to malls because it helps me discover if I was to take a shorty out on a date, which locations would I like to choose? And I like malls because there's security and there's a lot of eyes and witnesses. Get what I'm saying? So you can't go wrong with malls, man. Especially if you're like people watching and you want to shoot your shot. The Colombianas are more likely, I guess, to respond because you're in an enclosed, safe location. Versus if you try to holler at them in the street, it's not likely because it'll come off as. Remember, there is a culture that they like to rob. You know what I'm saying? They like to. I'm trying not to offend, bro. They there are some criminals that are very common, very most more common to scoop whatever you got. And they say the police, this is not my words, they say that the police don't do much. So because the criminals feel like they're not going to get prosecuted, they keep doing it. So I would say it's, I guess, a part of the culture. So because of that, most of the people that you approach in the street are less likely to respond. And most you can probably get is a hello while they're moving back and forth. I've done that lots of times. And it's the same rules apply in the States. If you say hello and give a smile, you can keep it moving. In a mall, when you're in the same location, you're more than likely to hit it off talking in a mall, if that is your thing, right? So I say in order to mitigate some of that stuff that's been happening lately, most of your entertainment definitely has to be done in like safe spots where security is at a presence. I like this spot that I'm at. This apartments. Basically, when you pick apartments, make sure that it has security. It mitigates. I won't say this is foolproof. It mitigates the chances of something happening. And if you having like your friends are coming over and somebody within the circle is new, have them take a picture of whatever their ID is, the cedula, and send that to someone that can hold that information or can reach a bigger audience of like, law enforcement, someone that you trust. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna need some talking fluid in a bit. 1 second. All right, cool. We got my talking fluid. Head to toe. Water without gas. So this is basically non-carbonated water. It's just pure water. All right. So what I was saying is, for passport bros, right? My advice, the number one rule in terms of like navigating like in a foreign land is like to really know the language and pick up on it. But Nate, even if you know the language, don't you see about the Mexican that got, the Dominican that got, it mitigates. You know what I'm saying? It mitigates. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that it's completely foil-proof, but it mitigates. We're talking about mitigation. You know what I'm saying? Even cybersecurity, you can harden your network so hard. You can harden your network so much to a point that the most skilled hacker can penetrate through your systems. You know what I'm saying? And then, what are you doing? I'm down here. Yo, my gimbals is bugging out. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So what I was saying is you can harden your network so much to the point that, hey, it can seem like it's almost impenetrable, but the skilled a skilled technician, a skilled pen tester, a skilled whatever have you, can infiltrate your systems. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take longer, but I have an IT background. But the reason why you do all this is to mitigate the chances of it happening. And if you notice that something happens, they'll give you enough time to respond. That's why I'm saying a lot of this mitigates the stuff of things happening. And if you notice it, if you outright notice it, they'll give you time to respond in accordingly, and then keep yourself protected, safe, and secure. But I wish I had more information based off of the live stream that I've seen, like based off of Razor Raids, and okay, Old Crusty Extra Salty Uncle Rico says it's not safe for the regular guy that's going because you know why they are going. Okay, I agree. To an extent, I agree. For the regular guy, yes, if they're not seeing what's if they don't know the language, if they don't know the terrains, if they haven't done any background research, if they haven't vetted the woman long enough, if they wear certain clothing, if they're too flashy, yeah, it ain't safe for them. That's why I said in the beginning of this live stream, it really depends. It really depends. My first time in Colombia was in Cartagena. I sort of kind of got. It's because I didn't. It's because I overpaid. I overpaid for a lot of things, like overpaid for like entertainment, overpaid for food, overpaid for transportation. I didn't know what was going on, so I said, yeah, I got. But that situation, thank God, I still have my life because I wasn't mugged or anything, right? I'm not wishing mugging on anybody else, but I hope it never happens to somebody. But you gotta be mindful of like how you carry yourself. So the first times, yeah, I got. I said, all right, I understand how these people work. There's things I heard, but I don't know how it happens. You know what I'm saying? I say this, the same thing. You can learn so much, right? You can grab so much information, right? But you really don't know how things happen unless you experience it. Not a good way to experience certain things, but there's things that you can do to mitigate. You're like, okay, I know if I do this, this is what's going to happen. But information I heard, so oh yeah, they're going to scam you. Said, all right. So in my mind, I'm looking for one thing, but not really paying attention to the other dangers. So that's what happened the first time in Cartagena. Said, oh, okay, I got gringo taxed or something like that. I wasn't paying attention. All right. Oh, I forgot I had a chain on, but I didn't get mugged. I was like, oh, so simple mistakes. I'm like, oh my gosh, how could I do this? So I said, oh, that's probably why I got charged so much. So in round two, I said, all right, let me start off in Cali and let me see how things are going. You know what I'm saying? Let me observe it. And I like Cali because it felt more like my speed. It felt like Cali, Colombia felt like the entire Bronx in terms of culture, right? Culture. Right, people like to say, "Oh, the Bronx, New York is dangerous." What are you talking about? In terms of culture, bro, where you can like say what up to your Dominican over there and say what up to the Albanian, and y'all all speak New York. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a culture, right? So I said, "Yo, Cali feels like New York in a positive way." So then I kind of understood. I made friends. I got to understand the lay of the land. I did my research before I traveled. I took the bus throughout. So me doing all of that and experiencing so much firsthand gave me a lot of information on, okay, this should cost like this if you're in a local area. So if I'm over here, I'm definitely going to be paying a lot more, which is why I don't know. I don't like Poblado at all, bro. That's just me. Old Crusty, Extra Salty, Uncle Rico says, only a truly well-seasoned traveler can go now, and it is still more dangerous than before. Crime is up there, and it's the holiday season, right? And so they are desperate for cash. I would like to add on to that yes, they had the Independence Day that just happened for Cartagena Monday that passed. A lot of people was off. When I was in El Centro, it was very busybody. My friend that I met. So when I was in Manizales, I met a woman named Sandra, who then let me meet her best friend, Jeanette. And me and Jeanette has been cool like this. We have been cool like this. So if I need something, she provides and vice versa. So when we was walking down, she said, "There's a lot of people off today. El Centro is safe." I was scared to death. I told you, look, the first time, la primera vez, no me gusta el centro, no me gusta el centro, muy peligroso, no, it's no fun. My fault. I'm going off. So I said, yo, it's very dangerous. I don't like it. And I didn't want to offend her. I said, look, I know this is your favorite spot. I don't like it. So no, you'll be fine with me. That's another thing. If you have a trusted Colombian that you can vouch for, they can be able to chaperone you around certain areas, and then you still have a sense of security because they understand their neighborhood, they understand the barrios, and they will then inform you how to move about. So honestly speaking, I wouldn't go to El Centro by myself. I mean, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. I would definitely love to get a whole bunch of clicks and views. I'll snap them in El Central. But when I was down there, I felt more at ease to record. At certain times, I didn't want to record, but I felt more at ease that I was with Jeanette recording. Because if you're a solo traveler and a solo traveling YouTuber, you have equipment, man. You can get got. That is a red flag target, bro. You know what I'm saying? If it's your first time, you walking around with phones out in the open, your wallet's all on the open, you got chains out in the open, man. It's your first time. Let me say this: the chances of something happening is really high. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna wish stuff on you, but the chances of something happening is really high. And as old crusty Oscar Salty Uncle Rico says, yeah, they're desperate for cash, and the holiday season is creeping up. Right? They have been building up a lot of Christmas decorations, and you know that Christmas worldwide is one of the most stressful. I think New York Times has reported this, but it's one of the most stressful holidays coming up because there is also a need to someone feels like the need to give a gift to somebody, right? Which is why one of the most potent Christmas carols, I guess, or Christmas stories is the Gift of the Magi, where I think the husband sold his priceless harmonica or priceless watch. Harmonica is the Mickey Mouse version, but he sold his priceless watch in order to get combs for his wife's hair, and his wife sold her hair in order to get a chain for the watch. You get what I'm saying? And it's like people will go to the extreme in order to get a gift for somebody, and you see all of that kind of play out today too. It's a story, but it's something that's very plausible. Give me a second as I drink my water, and I'm going to read a little bit more of the comments. Not my water. I mean my talking fluid. Talking fluid. So yeah, desperation happens. Christmas, they say it's the bomb down here. It's a bomb.com, but you gotta be super extra diligent when you're down here in the Christmas season, especially in Cartagena. They uptake the police force down here, and yeah, it's different. Like I said, I've been fine. Don't wish no accidents on anybody, but glory to God, I'm all right. So old crusty extra salty Uncle Rico says, but those simple mistakes are costing guys their lives right now. If they can't stop doing what they are used to, they need not to go there now. Simple. So there was a live stream that went out by Razor Rays, who said should Passport Bros boycott Colombia, right? Should they boycott? I'm not sure if it's boycott Colombia, boycott Medellin, boycott Cartagena. I don't remember what it was. And then there was another live stream that says should Passport Bros go somewhere else. I had jumped on the stream and gave my 2 cents, my unbiased 2 cents, saying that I can't control what a brother does. I can't control what a traveler comes down and solicit and how they solicit their money. But I would say it's safer to do it in like noob friendly countries or beginner friendly countries like Costa Rica. In my honest opinion, Costa Rica has been relatively safe through my eyewitness experience of police every corner. I'm not sure if it has something to do with their holidays and their Independence Day that was going on, but like yo, every corner when I was in San Jose, I'm like, yo, there's a cops everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, are they gonna get at me for recording? I'm like, yo, I'm here recording. Like, there's so much cops. I'm like, I even felt threatened by the cops. I'm like, is the cops gonna get me for recording? That's how much police presence I seen down in Costa Rica. So I'm like, okay, well, if brothers can't speak Spanish, if brothers want to do the same things that they're doing down here somewhere else, and if brothers don't mind spending a little extra money for food, entertainment, whatever it may be, then go to Costa Rica. You can do all the stuff that I don't know what they do over here mainly, but all the stuff that has been said on the internet that they do, you pretty much, I think you can do over there as well. Just don't know that, in my honest opinion, I call Costa Rica the United States of Central America because you pay like U.S. prices for like food and stuff. Which pricing I'm about to talk about pricing over here in a little bit. But I'm like, yo, you paying like, dang, bro. Like, this case in point, right? So I ordered pizza on Uber, right? And this was my own ignorance, right? So I got. I ordered pizza on Uber Eats. There was a 2-for-1 special going on. They said, okay, for 17,000 colones, you can get 2 pizzas. I said, oh snap, this is good. In my all ignorant mind, right? I'm thinking you're paying $17. $17. I didn't know that Uber Eats has already converted the conversion to Costa Rican colones. I'm like, all right, cool, I can do that. Only to find out, I'm checking my account and said, yo, why the heck did I pay $44, 44 US dollars for 2 pizzas? I would never stop talking about that because I'm mad because I didn't have to buy the pizzas. I only bought it because I thought it was inexpensive, right? It was very inexpensive. I said, all right, cool. Let me go get this $17 pizza. Nah, Nate, you spending $44 on those pizzas. And that was one of the reasons why I loved Colombia because, yo, I can get a whole plate of meal for like $3, right? And I said, yo, if I was to go to a place long term, but just for the food alone, I would say I would do Colombia. Here I go, fast forward for 2 years later. Why is it now for the hot dogs, the perros and the perritos, bro, the most common recession food that I would call, yo, why is it? I'm like, yo, this thing has increased by, let's say, 4 times. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember spending 9,000 Colombian pesos or 9,000 pesos for like a hot dog or 10,000 peso. I'm like, granted, right? My total, I bought 2 hot dogs. It cost me $5 US, right? People like will say, Nate, it's only $5 US. No, I don't care if it's $5 US. I care that it was, back in the days, it was like $2. I mean, just like the MTN New York, it keeps going up, People say, oh, it's only $2.90. I liked it when it was under $1. I don't want to have to keep paying uptake prices. No, I don't like that, man. So I usually buy my groceries to save money on eating out a lot because it adds up. If you're in Laredo, you're in Poblado, you ordering at these fancy restaurants. Granted, it's like for the meal, it's going to be like $18, so it'd be like equivalent of eating at like an Applebee's or Dallas BBQs. It ain't going to hurt you that much. But if you're here for like over a week and you keep doing that, and especially if you're entertaining guests, you keep doing that, that's going to add up. So I like to buy my own fruits, my produce, my fruit and vegetables, whatever have you, at my apartment, and then I cook it up. Especially if I have guests over, I'm like, yo, look, I know you ain't ever ate Jamaican food before this, yo, come over or bring the family. I'm about to start cooking, chefing it up. And then, I can feed a family for like the price that I would spend at a restaurant and then still have some left over. So when I went to, I guess, Exito, right? I know this is a bad example because Exito is Main Street over here. Went to Exito, I bought olive oil. I'm like, yo, I do not recall spending 20 US dollars for 1 liter of olive oil. And I said, yo, that hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what has happened within the 2 years that I was last here? I'm like, yo, why are things so expensive? You know what I'm saying? To the average gringo who, oh snap, Colombia's price is cheaper. But I've been here before. I bought groceries before. You know what I'm saying? I fed people before, and I love feeding people. It's something what I do, which, I have some food I'm about to give to Venezuelans a little after I leave this apartment. But I'm like, yo, why is it so expensive, man? I don't recall. I remember buying a whole bunch of things. I'm looking at the total bill. It came up to like 170,000 pesos. I'm like, I don't remember spending this much. I remember every time I bought like a big thingamajig of like groceries, it was like at least under 100,000 pesos. 100,000 pesos. And I was like, yo, chilling. But nowadays I'm like, yo, I don't even know about groceries so much. So prices have definitely come up in terms of like food. And yeah, man, and snacks and all that. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it. Reading the next comment. Let's see. Okay, Rico, got you. Just call me Rico. Why not just tell them not to go, especially to Medellin or CCG, or at least promote other safer places in Colombia? There are pretty girls everywhere. Rico, call me. The guy that's cuffing. There's a term that we call cuffing, right? Like, oh, why are you cuffing your chicks? Why are you cuffing? Meaning that you don't want to share it. I try not to tell people much about Manizales, the Epic Cafeteria region, Manizales, Armenia, because I'm like, nah, we can't let the brothers know about this. But honestly speaking, though, if you know Spanish, yeah, definitely go and check it out. There has been a lot of more tourism has been increasing in Cali too. Cali was definitely my spot. Honestly speaking, besides me and Check and Effect, I think we were the only two that was really going hard on Cali, Colombia. Like you would have some people that have like, videos here and there, like spending a day or a couple of days. But me and Check were the only ones, Check and Effect were the only ones going hard. You know what I'm saying? With the filming of with Cali content. And it's good to see people that's out there now. But I guess people are out there probably for the Cali curves. I was out there for the culture. So not needless to say, it exists out there, but I was there for the culture. Cali is good. It's still one of my favorite cities. I might go back there again, do an impromptu quick trip for a day or so. But that region of Valle de Cauca, I like it. Buenaventura, I like it. They don't see tourism like that, but they get tourism from along the area, from along Colombia and whatever have you. There was another spot that's near the desert of Colombia that I want to check out. They say nothing to go on over there, and it's pretty quiet and basic, but I wanted to check that out. But hey, I have no problems promoting other places. It's just that the audience, I would like to say the algorithm, but the audience, they're only interested in certain cities, right? They're only interested in your Cartagena, your Medellin, right? So if content comes from these cities and this happens to be a highly populated passport bro location, whatever have you, chances are, that's all that's going to be shown. And I mean, I can't do nothing about that. You got what I'm saying? So if that's what brothers want to see, they will go to what they want to see. Unless a big time YouTuber really goes heavy on the other sides of Colombia again. People know about Barranquilla, but Barranquilla is only popular in February. People have been to San Andreas, but I don't know. You would have to find a way to bring that information to people to really care much for it, like Santa Marta, Barranquilla, Santa Marta, San Andreas, I have not been to yet, but it's on the bucket list. So then I'll be able to complete it, and then possibly go for Ramanga. But for the most part, I've been to pretty much all majority of the major cities. From the bottom coming back up. But yeah, honestly, Armenia, Armenia is one of my favorite town cities, municipalities in Colombia, because it has a very strong family feel. And I don't think it's cheap either. I think you have to have a little money to be in Armenia. I was looking at Airbnbs per night. Every location I was seeing per night was at least 80 US to $100 US. I'm not sure now, but even when I was doing videos and I did my videos in Armenia, my highest viewed Colombian videos is actually from Armenia, which lets me think probably I'm going to go back to Armenia and promote it a little more, because some people want to retire or people are looking for like a different take of fresh air. The only thing about those areas is that you have to know Spanish to get around, and there is no Uber, no InDriver, no Didi. So you have to know how to communicate with the taxi drivers. So people will gravitate more to the Medellin and Cartagena, and sometimes Cali, because you can Uber. There's some people that speak English. You're around other tourists, and then people have a sense of security with that. So I think to answer that question, that's why some other places don't get promoted in Colombia. But I also think that other countries can be promoted as well. We can't go to Venezuela, but we have fresh Guinea, we have Suriname, we have Guyana, which I'm interested in. You know what I'm saying? I don't know not much about this, but 2020 sprung the growth of you know or the explosion of travel content creators, but particularly here in Colombia. But we definitely would love to see other cities like heavily introduced by the big time YouTubers. I'm only a small time YouTuber, so there's only so much reach I got. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, if you like this content, don't forget to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I gotta throw it out there. Let me drink some more talking fluid and read your next comment. Okay, Rico says Costa Rica is very safe. They have less gangs than we have in the United States. Yes, I agree. It's a benefit. They are a mountainous country and never ever been to wars, so no proliferation of guns. Yes, yes, I would say that San Jose is actually in the valley of the mountainous Costa Rica, right? So in my exploration over there, I loved it. I loved it. And then the police presence are there. And yes, the mountains, terrains makes it a little difficult for, I guess, solicitors and whatever have you. Their border policies are pretty good too. They're chill, relaxed. Honestly speaking, I like Costa Rica. I've been there 4 times in 1 year. Wait, I'm lying. 3 times. 3 times within this year, I've been to Costa Rica, bro. That says a lot versus me here in Colombia. This is now my 4th time here in Colombia, and it took a matter of years to actually reach number 4 here in Colombia. 3 times in Costa Rica in 1 year. But anyway, I digress. In Costa Rica, I only been to San Jose, I've been to Jaco, and I've been to Limon. Jaco, in my honest opinion, great beach town, believe it or not. Why? During the daytime, super family friendly. Like you see kids and mom and pop, out there and eating breakfast and having fun and playing in the pool and playing the beach. And I'm like, yo, they got families out here? Nice. Okay. I can do a Jaco. Nighttime. That's nighttime, it's people say the zombies come out, but I wouldn't say the zombies. Nighttime has a very different atmosphere. Nighttime lets you know that it's definitely gives you red light district feels. During the daytime, completely fine. Nighttime, you're like, all right, you see some sketchy people, You see women out there and about. That's a different feel, you know. Honestly speaking, that's me. I don't like going around places at nighttime by myself like that. So I had I had someone who was native there over there that showed me around Hako at nighttime. I showed Razor Raised. Razor Raised could vouch for me on what I showed him. I said, hey man, from what it's looking like, Costa Rica might, Hako might be the spot for some of your brothers. Hey, look, I'm fine. I don't need all this, but I mean, if your brothers are looking for this, said to myself, wait, there you go. If your brothers are looking for all this, I guess this will be for y'all, whatever it may be. So yeah, Costa Rica has been honestly though. Rico, let me add on to that. Costa Rica has been heavily input with it, has been hammered hard with a lot of gringos, right? Not just brothers in particular, but there is a lot of gringos that has been going over there for years. It's been the known expat spot. I'm not sure if everybody just traveled there elsewhere. I mean, Bali, Thailand, wherever have you. But I still see them out there in full force. The gringos out there in Hako as well. The lighter skinned gringos. It's funny, right? I was out there at I was out there at a restaurant with my friend, right? I had ordered her some food. She had got up and left, man. The second she had got up and left, and I was there by myself, a woman from the woodwork was coming back and forth to see if I wanted to buy their time. It was quite comical. I said, nah, it's cool, friends here, she a little jealous, I don't want to get anybody trouble. So, cierto. And I went with that, I just allowed some of the white guys looking like, who is this guy? He kind of knows some Spanish. Who is this guy? I guess they wanted to figure me out. Hey, how's it going? I'm such and such. I own such and such lot. I live over here. I love it over here. Hey, who are you? What you out here? So, I mean, I'm just a, IT tech. That's also a YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a YouTuber. I'm just here to see what it's all about. And they said, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. So what do you think? Well, they said, hey, look fine and all of that, but I'm good. I know these are y'all women. You know what I'm saying? I leave y'all women alone because you probably think I'm gonna snatch up your woman. That's y'all woman. I'm good. I got my peoples out here. So I guess they're probably trying to figure out if I'm trying to snatch up their women or what's going on. So I mean, I had my drone. I felt flying my drone in Hako. I felt flying having my cameras out and around. Bro, I felt relatively okay while I was out there in Hako. And man, if I was to I guess retire, Costa Rica might be a strong suitor for that. I had taken a few days, a weekend trip out to Nicaragua, since I was right there, and I started to fall in love with that country too. It had Colombian prices based off of what I remember back in 2021, and it had old school Colombian prices with a nice cool atmosphere when I went to Nicaragua. And I was like, the only gringos that you've seen was within Latin America, right? The only tourists, I should say, was within Latin America. I was like, and then occasionally you had some, European, Western tourists out there as well. But I was like, oh snap, I need to see what this is about. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to definitely go deeper into Nicaragua and see what that's all about. Because then I'd have to go back to Costa Rica. Now make number 5 number 4 back into Costa Rica, right? So back into Costa Rica and then take the bus over, which is cheaper than just flying from New York to Nicaragua. Costa Rica, take the bus over to Nicaragua. But their border policies, they're a little bit more strict. I don't know if it's because of the wars and drug solicitation. So they're a little bit, once you get to that border of Nicaragua, it's a little bit, but Costa Rica is definitely safer. It's chill, laid back. When I came back across the border, they was like, oh, yeah, it's cool, And I felt really good. I felt really fine walking around Costa Rica, especially in South Central with my camera, recording all that. Really cool. Costa Rica prices are the same as the U.S., but they have the most government benefits of all Latin American countries for their citizens. Yes, that's why I've noticed I've also said this on Razor Razors live. I said, hey, I know a lot of y'all like Colombians, but I also noticed that you guys kind of like varieties. So if you want a variety, you might as well just go to Costa Rica because everybody seems to have gone over there for work too. I know some Colombians from over there that's overworking over there too. Whether there's hairstylists, nail salons, or whatever have you, they're over there as well, trying to find work. So Costa Rica might be the next spot for people who want to feel safer in terms of like vacationing or entertainment. Let's see. He said, hell, I spent $70 for some trunks and flip flops in Akko in 2015. So I know how bad CR prices are, but beautiful people and great vibe. I learned my lesson. Yes, 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 man. Yo, oh snap! I'm just my fault, bro. I'm just saying. I'm reading all your lessons. You got a link. I would love to chop it up for a few minutes. I will. I don't even know how to do this. Let's see. I'm going to figure this out. All right. I'm going to post the link down because I've never done this before. I've never done this before. More. Post a comment. How do I do this? I wish Ray was here to help me. So I think I posted a link in the comments. Yeah, it should be out there. And if you want to hop on, go for it. We can chop it up. And please keep profanity at a minimum. Um, there you go. I think I got. It should be there. Please keep profanity and bad talk at a minimum. Let's keep it PG-13. I don't want to get demonetized. All right, the link is out there, Rico. Let's see. All right. All right. Well, as the link is out there, and while I'm waiting for Rico to pull up, um, yeah, let me talk about that. So, okay, he says you don't see it. I posted the comment, post copy and paste the link. Yeah, I pasted the link. Uh, all right, it's not there. All right, so let me figure this out. All right, so I'm hitting more, post a comment. All right, I'm going to post another comment again. All righty. Comment has been posted. All right. All right. The link has been posted again. It's right there. If you don't see it, I put it up on the front. Streamlard. There you go. Do you see that right there, Rico? There you go. All right. Cool. Let's chop it up. I've been out here 1 hour strong. I have about 40 minutes left in my Airbnb before I go someplace else. All right. As we're waiting for Rico to pull up. But yeah, honestly speaking, man, it is expensive over there. So I think that's one deterrent for most, I guess, bros that may want to go to Costa Rica because pricing is expensive. I lucked out, there was a shorty I met that is a chef. I went to a restaurant a couple of times too. Was a happy clapper, real happy camper. Let's see here. All right. right. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. As I'm waiting for Rico to pull up, here we go. All right. Rico, you on the air. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, sir? Thank you for
So
letting
far,
me up. And I promise to keep my language straight because I haven't been to
no,
my libations yet.
no problem, man.
let me first say this to you, Nate. I have to apologize to you, believe it or not, because I mistook you for another Nate in Colombia. Because until I
Okay.
started seeing you actually come up on the panel, I actually thought you were the guy that went viral for the incident in Colombia with the chica. I don't know if you are aware
I'm
of.
not familiar. Can you let us know what you're talking about?
There's a guy named Nate also. Razor did a live on it and everything, and he got into a altercation with a chica. You know, those guys didn't want to pay. Yeah.
Yeah. In
And was
Cartagena,
screaming
right?
and yelling and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Adios, adios.
Yeah.
That guy, right?
Yes. And
Mhm.
I thought because I hadn't seen you, but it's Nate, and I thought maybe he's Nate the Great or something like that. So I kept confusing the two. I said, "Oh man, that's that."
No, so I think that's the reason why I started to add Nate the Great to distinguish myself from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I had friends that, this is not a pompous feeling, but I had friends that used to call me that just for kicks and giggles, Nate the Great. So I just kept it as it is
Right.
to distinguish myself from any other Nate that might be out there. But all right, continue. As you're saying? As you were saying?
Oh yeah. So I mean, like I said again, I apologize because in my head I had believed that was you and just like man, I want to talk to this guy, blah 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 blah. So I was like, okay, I got to start doing my homework a little bit more. But I wanted to
No
say,
worries.
since I first heard you come up on Razor, and I mean like this is you strike me as the type of passport brother. Like, believe it or not, Razor knows me well. I'm one of his ops, right?
Okay.
They would say so, right? And to be
Okay.
honest with you, we just give them a hard time because I think him and so many other, not him directly, Razor's not doing anything, but his audience, like you spoke to earlier, is the type of people that you really don't want to tip your hat to your sweet spot because you really don't want that sort of traffic if you really found a good space. And I just feel like, I love what you're doing because you're giving out the real deal. You're giving out good content. You're giving out good information. And all the other guys are just pushing the Chica bandwagon. And then they're upset that what we got going on is going on. And I just feel bad. I think it's just going to get worse, because these guys are just not listening. The like I said, the crime rate is up. The robbery's up. I've never been to Colombia. I would like to visit.
Okay.
I have no desire to want to go to Medellin or Cartagena right now. I would like to visit those cities, but now I just don't think it's a very good time. But like I said, I'm an older man. I'm married, so me and my wife do travel. I got a retirement home in the DR.
Okay.
From El Salvador, so I've traveled Central America. That's how come we've been to Costa Rica, Panama.
Okay.
Places.
So I have a question for you though.
Mm-hmm.
My question for you is, you don't want to go to Colombia, or is it because you don't have no desire, or is it because of the safety issues? Why haven't you visited?
I actually do want to go to Colombia. That's a place my wife has been saying we want to visit. But with the current climate right now, no. No. I actually want to go to Colombia. I think Colombia is a beautiful country. I think you can really have a great time, but it's no sense in being just dumb. So it's sort of like what people always say when you hear the safety argument, what's the first city they mention in America? What about Chicago, right?
Oh, Chicago. I was going to say New York.
What about Chicago? And I'm like, but you don't see people flooding to go to Chicago either.
Okay.
So if in America we deem a city unsafe, people are not breaking their neck to go to Compton. When New York was crazy back in the day, nobody was going there at that time. So I'm like,
Right.
well, why are we treating these cities differently than we do even in American city? Like right now, I think the murder capital is St. Louis or some other city. I'm like, nobody's not
Right.
going there for that reason.
Right.
When the police get it under control, then people go back. So I'm like, why don't you guys just do that for Medellin? And even if you still have to go to Colombia, I know there got to be 100 other safer places with women that's just as beautiful that you
Absolutely.
have just as good of a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I plan on showcasing some other areas that I visited in further episodes. Like I said earlier, I just because of the safety issues, and I wanted to mitigate the amount of whatever may happen. I kept most of my equipment back in the States, so mitigate whatever may happen. Like I said, thank God I'm all right, and
Right.
nothing has happened. Knock on wood. But so far, I have a few phones with me, you know. If something happens to one phone, I have another backup phone. You know, I have, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say how many phones I got on me
Right.
in case the Colombians watching, but I got quite a few backups just in case. I have a safe that I walk around with, a travel safe. I have a runner's belt that if I have my wallet here, I have a runner's belt. I have chains on my wallet. And this is not just for Colombia. I run the same program whether I'm someplace else. I am a first generation Jamaican American. Same thing applied in Jamaica. I had the same, even though it's a little hotter, I had the same sort of setup. It's when you're walking in someplace new, especially that's a developing nation, you got to be on your P's and Q's because you got to understand from one of my observations, especially going to Jamaica, a lot of people see you differently.
Yeah.
And we have to, as I guess Americans, have to take humility of that fact that we are in a better position than most other people. So I try my best to, I guess I would say, honor or respect the locals as much as possible, which is why I make it my mission to I need to make sure I need to say your name correctly. I need to say your cities correctly. Believe it or not, it's a pet peeve of mine where I hear people say Medellin instead of Medellin, which the locals love to say it's Medellin. I've gotten corrected the first a few times by locals like Medellin. Said, look, you got it. If it's Medellin, I'll say Medellin. And occasionally I abbreviate.
Most guys don't even say the country right. They keep saying Colombia.
Right.
Colombia.
Right, Colombia. So I understand that, as people say, so here you go, little pet peeves. But you got to understand that these are prideful people as well. So if they see that you don't understand the custom culture, they're going to treat you as anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And the respect is out there. You got to respect them if you kind of want the respect. So the little micro details I try to pay attention to. So I try to make sure, if I'm incorrect, please correct me so I can make sure I say it right the next time, and that alone has helped me garner some respect with some of the locals as well by me, of course, here we go, a little dumb, ignorant gringo. Yeah. But, the fact that I'm trying and I actually put an effort to really understand their country, their cities as well, has given me some pluses. To you, I would also say that, don't be afraid of certain other countries, but if you really want to take your family out within Colombia, there is a city that was on my list as I highly recommend it, was Armenia. Like I said, it's like right there in the heart of Colombia. It's in the center within the Epe Cafeteria, which is the coffee region. So it's like a triangle of three big cities within the coffee regions. And Armenia was the one that felt the most family friendly. And because of that, I said, oh man, this is it's a good city. And there's so much beautiful women over there too. One of my stories came over there was actually from a bar. There was another gringo that I met from Georgia, white dude, funny. There's a girl that he met at a bar, and I was looking for him. He invited me over to the bar. I said, oh, that's chick that you're interested in? Oh, she's fine, and we chopped it up over there, and we chopped it up over there. So that was fun. I said, yeah, there's pretty people over there, but it's still, in the back of my head, it's still Colombia. You just can't really drop your guard, even though it's Armenia. But there are pretty women regardless of wherever it is. There was another city that I was going to check out. I might not have time, but it's within Huila. Huila is I think next to the deserts, and it's a town that really nothing go on. But they said it's a town that's good for nature enthusiasts, and I'm the type of guy that likes jungles. I like animals, and they told me about it. I said, "Oh, I'll definitely go check that out." I still have yet to visit the Amazon here in Colombia, which borders um, Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, Argentina, and Brazil, no, Brazil, Ecuador, and Argentina. I think within that most southernmost region is the Amazons, and I heard that's a good site too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's stuff to see, but it really depends on, like I said, safety is codependent on what the persons are actually here for. If you are here, so if you're here for, I guess, what people may consider immoral reasons and solicit your money in a, not so fashionable, reasonable fashion, the chances of something happening might be increased. That's pretty much is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, see, and that's what I was wondering, like I said, because it's sort of like when I just look at like the travel community, right?
Okay.
And of course, all these guys, they like, they start out, it's weird. It's like all of a sudden, and I've been traveling for decades. I mean, like,
Okay.
ever since I was 18, the first went into the military, and I'm 59 now. So you know how, and I haven't been traveling as robust as travelers during the pandemic. And, and now they're just going places willy-nilly. But the way I look at it is, I'm like, what are you gaining from your travel? What are you investing? Travel is supposed to be an education and an experience. But if all you're going is from one den of inequity to another den of inequity, I don't care if it's in Colombia, the DR, Mexico, you're learning the same thing in all three different places rather than trying to actually get something. So I've always been of the mindset, if that's what you want to do and it's fun. I got young sons. I'm like, yeah, man, go have fun, sow your wild oats. But I think the internet is where a crossroad comes into play, because many people have been doing what they've always been doing now, but we weren't putting it on the internet. There was no conversation to be had because there was no conversation had. We would go, we would travel, whether you were in the military or on your own, you would have your fun. You came home. You didn't come home beating your chest. You didn't come home talking about these people are better than those people, because most of the time people didn't even know you went anywhere or you did anything, or they just knew you were gone for a while and now you're back. So I think part of the problem is that, yes, anything you put out to the public is going to have an opinion on.
Right.
You can't put something out and then go, well, why y'all always got something to say? Because you basically asked us. I keep telling these guys, I'm like, it's called the World Wide Web. The first word is world. When you put it on the internet, it's there for the world to see. So if your reflection is less than impressive, expect that sort of pushback. Celebrity, you guys want to be a celebrity? This is what celebrities go through. You're trying to be big on the internet. Oh, this is what Hollywood celebrities go through. Everything they do is picked apart and judged. You have no anonymity. And part of the problem is, like, when I look at countries, I'm disappointed because if I just did a Google search on Colombia in YouTube, what am I going to be overwhelmingly saturated with? Clock Tower, Parqueaderas, and you know what I'm saying? And I know that this country has a much better representation. That's not what Colombia's Department of Tourism is promoting. But what these guys are promoting, and because they're flooding the internet with this type of content, it's almost overwhelming the Department of Tourism. Same thing, like, and that's every country. That's the same thing in the DR. Put Sosua, you know what you're going to be flooded with. I got a home in Punta Cana in the better off to do area, but anytime someone types in YouTube Dominican Republic, the overwhelming majority of the hits are going to be Sosua, which is the sex tourism portion of the country, completely ignoring Santo Domingo, Santiago, and and more affluent parts of the country. Same thing in Mexico. It's saturated with Tijuana content. We know that's one part of Mexico and not the rest. So I tell these guys is that this market is what you guys are projecting. And first-time travelers, that's their entryway into travel.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of them, like you said, even in these other countries, it can be dangerous. So I'm like, if you're going to put that content out, that's fine. Yes, they're adults, but you should have a duty or responsibility to say, look, it ain't that sweet that you guys can be coming from America with your saggy pants and your chains and that American attitude, because these people, like you said, they're prideful people in these countries. They're not going to take too well to the behaviors of what some of you guys think you can get away with. And America's not going to be there to save you. It's not going to be there to save you, nor should it, if you're behaving irresponsibly. So that's just always only been my disappointment, I'll say, with the sector. But I don't think there's enough Nates out there. There are too many J-Rel. I don't even call out nobody other channel name, but there are too many of the ones that we know that are just doing like, and you see the really crazy stuff.
Okay.
And they get all the traction, like you said. I know why they get it. Women, girls, they've always said sex sells. I get that. But at some point, we're the cause of our own demise is the way I look at it. But I appreciate what you're trying to do. You and, I like what Ace does, Check. I consider you guys travel vloggers and not passport brothers. And I think there's a distinction in the content and the behavior and how they move. And it ain't like you guys ain't having fun. I'm sure you is, but you just don't feel a need to publicize all that. Like you said, I did want to say, like, Costa Rica, why it has a different vibe is it's the #1 ecotourism country. So they're big on promoting the animals and the jungles.
Absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
That.
Which is why
do that. Go ahead.
Sorry. Which is why I think, like I said, 3 times already I've been back to Costa Rica. And one of the things that actually made it feel like I was part of National Geographic Channel was going into the jungle in Costa Rica. I actually got to see the monkeys in the trees. I got to see the exotic birds. And as I was climbing higher up on the hill, I got to see bats in the cave. I said, wait a minute, these are bats? Like, this stuff that it blows my mind. I was like, wow, this is really amazing. I have yet to see a sloth, but they had one of the things I said on Ray's when Ray's asked my opinion, I said, yo, if you're into wildlife, yes. If you're into fun and entertainment, that's also there. Food, then you might have to, for me, I haven't had a good experience with food yet, but in terms of entertainment and the wildlife, it's really good. #1. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, look. I said, yo, I seen spiders as big as this. That's how I know I'm not.
You didn't do
That's how I know I was tour? In Central America.
You didn't do the crocodile tour? The crocodile?
No, I did not.
Oh, man, them things is huge. Absolutely. Have a lot of pictures and videos of the crocodiles, and they take you out on the little shallow water boat, and they're feeding them by hand. So, man, I mean, it's really a lot of cool stuff to do in Costa Rica and all those countries. I'm pretty sure there's a ton of things to do in Colombia other than what I see.
Yeah,
nobody's showing it.
So I'm not sure if you subscribe to the channel, but I do have some.
I knew you was on.
Oh, gotcha. Appreciate it.
Here, right?
So, I mean, I thought honestly, I thought you was pretty much randomly through. But I appreciate it.
On Razor because I just got a vibe that you were different.
I appreciate it, Rico. But I do have a set of videos coming out where I guess I'm not sure how I'm going to frame it, but in terms of okay, if you want to date, here are the locations that I recommend. I've already said it here on the stream. It's like malls are the best things that I love. I love going to a mall wherever I go because I get to see, I guess, the products that they sell. I love that type of atmosphere. I get to see the type of people that come in, what they're interested in. It's kind of like the way how I watch people and see how they interact with other people and see what they buy, what are their interests, and the type of people in there, the type of woman that come in there. And you learn a lot from going into a mall, and then you get to see the activities they got in the mall. So one of my top recommendations for any traveler, solo, single traveler that's no Spanish, and going in Latin America, want to figure things out, go to a mall. You can't go wrong with that. Bowling is here too. Just 2 days ago, I found out that they had roller disco over here. I said, I've never seen anybody talked about this in Colombia. There's roller disco.
Roller skating?
Yeah, roller skating.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They have that, and they have people doing tricks. So, okay, they got stuff here. And the stuff that I haven't seen promoted, but I have a set of videos coming out, hopefully. Well, if anybody's looking for it, they'll find it, is what I should say. Yeah. So, yeah, there's stuff that I got. I got stuff planned.
And I think if you realize, or what you know, like I realized too, like as there's a delineation between a travel vlogger and a passport bro, there's also a delineation between what's a true long-term expat and how their behavior is. Like you said, they'll have, if you live in the country, you have more of a reverence for the country, as opposed to I see guys who come to these countries for the weekend or a week, and they can be, let's face it, downright disrespectful because they know they're not going to be there long. They don't care. Okay. And they move that way. You know, they move that way in their language, their body posture, just really, you know, I come here, you know, and obviously I'm not telling that they're supposed to come and care and kiss the ground or anything like that, but I'm like, you should want to leave a place with a better impression of you than when you got there. They didn't know anything about you before you came there. And when you leave, that's just like if you go in somebody's house. If I come into your house, Nate, I should leave your home with you feeling better about me before when I came because you didn't know anything about me. Oh, Rico came, was well behaved. He sat down. He talked like he got some sense. Everything. But if I come into your house being all disrespectful, loud, obnoxious, you be like, man, I don't want this fool ever in here again. You know, and now you're thinking worse, and that's what I think some of them do.
Okay. So I would say, generally speaking, I did open up saying this. We would definitely have to define who exactly embodies what a passport bro is and what is a passport bro. What is being promoted? Apparently, from my observation, what is being promoted isn't who is truly the passport bros. There was a panel with forgot their names, but I think BMT pulled up and some other gentleman pulled up to one of the guys' podcasts. I think it was it Mitch? I don't know if it was Mr. Let Go, but it was one of the gentlemen that had a panel on this, and they had said that's not what they would define a passport bro is. So I would imagine whoever invented that term and whoever started the movement is the person that's right enough to define who a passport bro is. But for the meantime, in between time, it's apparently being stigmatized with, I guess, what people will consider the pookies, right? So, and generally speaking, my message is, I guess, to hit travelers and whoever the passport bros may be, right? So that way, I guess, both people can get the message, whoever it may be. So my observation, right, in my ignorance, right, because I could say my observation, the passport bros are all brothers traveling for just women. But generally speaking, I think it could be, a brother did say that it's a group, I guess, of men who are seeking greener pastures or quote, like a better life or better opportunity. So I would assume that passport bros are usually the ones who are already expatriated to another country, right? But then the traveling pookies are the one that gives the rest of the brothers who are traveling a real negative, light to what a true traveler is. Well, I like to call myself an adventure traveler or a travel vlogger, however it goes. But I like to go for the experience, culture, most importantly for food, because I do a lot of food reviews in my video as well. And I think to really understand a culture, it really has to involve the food as well. You can't really communicate with other people if you can't really communicate what they eat. You know what I'm saying? Why do they eat this way? Where did it come from? And my curiosity usually gets the better of me, and it dives me into a rabbit hole. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, it's not lost on me that you don't hear the travel vlogger Pookie or the adventure traveler Pookie. You know, it's not lost on me in those two veins. You never hear any negative connotation, but you do clearly with passport bros. I think they tend to, whoever coined the term had no idea that the gate would be left open to let these Pookies in. And now they're obviously trying to move the definition to exclude the Pookies, but you really can't. You've already let them in the house. You know, you've already let the dogs out. So trying to put the horse back in the barn is almost an impossibility. And the Pookies don't care. They don't care about tearing up your movement, damaging your name and your reputation. What also separates is it seemed like, again, while they call it greener pastures, we know it was sex-centered. It was always about going overseas and quote unquote getting these better women.
I don't know that, man. I don't.
That's part of the ideology that they literally wrote out, was that the Western women are unruly because they're basically born out of the manosphere, which was all about this gender crap. So it was all about Western women, and in particular, American Black women are no good. So we're going to go overseas and get more submissive women. All of them say the same thing. And in reality, I'm like, you're not getting more submissive women, because if you were actually a true, I mean, they are submissive, more submissive in some ways. I'm not going to say that they're not. But again, it goes back to your environment discussion, which is true. The difference between the levels of submission is based on their needs. Because if these Latin women had the same freedoms that Western women had of independence, I do think they would still be more submissive, not to the degree that they are. Because we do know in these countries, you know, these developing countries, a woman is clearly dependent on men. They can't break away from that. That's just, the governments will tell you that. You know, that they have higher unemployment rates. They don't get very little to no government assistance, even to your home country, Jamaica. You know, there's not an abundance of governmental programs for poor people or what like. I'm like, so in the Western countries, they get that. So that's where that comes from. So all I'm saying is, to just in a nutshell, is that the passport bro movement, which is why the Pookies gravitated towards it. See, the Pookies didn't run to the travel vloggers. The Pookies didn't run to the adventure traveler, because they don't want to do none of that. They want to do Pookie stuff, which is sex-centered. And that's why passport bros, you can't get rid of them, because you guys made it all about women.
I would have to say this, to be honest, though. What actually motivated me the first time to go to Colombia, I'm not ashamed to admit, but it was the woman that encouraged me to go to Colombia, Cartagena, the first time. I did hear the same rhetoric that you'll find submissive women over there. And when I went out there for the first time, you know, thinking that, you know, oh snap, these are girlfriends waiting for you. It was very different than what I expected. I said, oh no, these aren't, you know, what I expected. They're like this because, you know, I guess some of them are probably being bought or paid for, you know. And I had a little bit of a epiphany and said, what did I really? So what is this really? You get what I'm saying? So I try to sort of really understand, because I heard one thing, but I see another thing. So I'm like, what is it really? But I will have to give just a bit of pushback that, yes, I would have to give you Rico, I have to give you a little bit of pushback, please. Even though I have seen what people will call pay for play. I have seen that around. I have also seen women who are very, what people cringe about saying, the term they say, people cringe at saying, instead of, submissive. I like to use cooperative, right? I have seen that, generally speaking, they are more cooperative than what my experience in the United States. A lot of people like to argue, why couldn't you find it in the United States? It's because me, generally speaking, I come from a Christian background. I'm naturally conservative. So I'm looking for someone who's also naturally conservative too. I find that here in Colombia versus in the United States, where there is 97% of the women who I would kind of relate to don't follow my political ideology. You get what I'm saying? So generally speaking, I can't be in the United States. You haven't been to the other states. My name is Nate in your state. I've been to about 26 different states so far, and I plan to see all 50 states. But I've seen more than half of the country. I've been to more than half of the country, and in some of these other states, they have people that don't, share the same pigmentation,
Well,
right? So,
but I want right. If I can stop you just for a moment, because you're right. There's no disagreement. You gave me no pushback because I agree with that, and I still stand on my position, and I agree with every word you said. Because by the same token, like you said, you have come from a Christian background. You have a more conservative, black people, and that's all of us. Whether you're from Jamaica, African American, Haiti, whatever, we swing from wildly liberal to wildly conservative, because I'm conservative on some things, I'm liberal on more things. It depends on what the issue is. But what I'm saying is, for the way you describe yourself, you absolutely need to leave America to find a spouse that's more in tune with you, because there are not many. There's a small handful of women in America that's that way. Most of them ain't black, so they might be white, or so I don't know if you have a particular racial preference like some people do. I don't. But if you did, I'm like, good luck with finding a sister that's aligns with you. So I absolutely agree with you. However, most of the guys, why I can't accept the pushback, most of the guys that's traveling, they're not like you. Most are completely drink, smoke, curse, swear, do all types of drugs, do everything else. So it's like they are obviously not looking for their idea of submission is shut up and do what I say. But yet their leadership is devoid of any type of leadership. So again, it's like it falls flat to me, because I'm like, you guys are so broken. You running from a broken state, which you were a part of or a part of creating, and you're simply going to go to other places with that brokenness and break these people. These guys are going to Mexico, the DER, and Colombia, and if the guy is screwed up, all he's going to do is screw her up. They're not you, Nate. They're not solid. They ain't together. Most of them, the overwhelming majority of them, are just wanting to do pay for play. And then when they decide they want to settle down, and if they've been pay for playing all this time, that's not just going to leave them. That's not going to leave overnight. So I tell guys all the time, I'm like, you can find a real authentic relationship overseas in these countries, but you got to be willing to put in the same amount of work as if you were in the U.S. You can't go over there and snap your fingers. And like you said, these women are just falling down. Oh, black man, American. I'm like, no, not a good one. The one for that bread, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only speaking based off of my experience, but like I said, you will find, for me, since I've been traveling around, I've noticed that there are some more cooperative women overseas than I've noticed back in the United States, and I guess it is cheaper to court them over here than it would be in the United States. So it really depends on the individual, what they're looking for. If they're really looking for relationships, then I give my advice that, yeah, this is how I would move about. I would check out these certain, like, there was a brother that really asked me not too long ago. He said that he wasn't a P4P type of a guy, and he wanted to know a little bit more about Manizales. And I was kind of reluctant at first, because I know that Manizales is cool, but I don't want to be accused as a brother that's cuffing up the ladies. But I'm like, honestly, I had to tell him, I said, look, this is how I feel. If you're there for the woman, I really can't recommend it to you. But if you're there going to be there for long term, you like safety, your age range is probably like college students to mid-20s, that would be like a city for you. If you can tolerate sometimes it being cold at night and then walking up the hills, then that'll be a city for you. If you're truly looking for someone to court and have a relationship with. Everywhere else, I said, if it's for fun, I mean, you guys already know. You guys got that information. I know it's out there. I don't know what else I could tell you. But if you really want to know about Armenia, I can tell you about it. Manizales, I can tell about Cali. I can talk about it. Like I said, Cali is one of my favorite cities, and it wasn't even about the ladies. So, and it's because the feeling that I got from over there. It feels like home. So I'm like, yo, Cali, I'll definitely be there. You know what I'm saying? And then the everybody I met, completely natural. It's either I learned from like either going to a salsa club or either the salsa clubs or somebody knows somebody else. You get in a circle. I'm like, yeah, this is cool, man. I feel accepted. So it really depends on the individual. But for me, generally speaking, now that I've gotten a taste of what it's like to really travel, I have to see more. Um, so I don't even know where in terms of dating, I don't even know where the pin will drop.
Let
But
me
from
ask
what I know is as I'm
you.
traveling and exploring some more, sheesh is great. But my heart slowly but surely leads to Cali, Colombia a lot often. So who knows where, Mrs. Nate in your state will come from. You know what I'm saying?
Well, how long have you been traveling now? Did was just
So
born out of the pandemic or before or what?
yeah, I am what you would consider one of the new blood. In terms of international, I'm one of the new blood of the pandemic. My channel has been around since 2017. At the time, I was doing a lot of USA travel and food content.
Oh,
I
that's
had
the
reached
Nate
to a
in your
point where
state.
I'm sorry.
I said that's the Nate in your state. You were traveling
Yes,
domestically. Okay,
yes.
got you.
So my whole premise is to go to various states, and I justified coming to Colombia because Colombia has states, right? Mexico
Mhm.
also has states. So I said, in a sense, it's not just an American thing. I wanted to complete the United States before I do international travel, but it just so happens that the pandemic happened and it seemed like Colombia was the place. And so I was one of the bandwagoners. I'll admit it, I was one of the guys on the bandwagon. Let me go see what Colombia is all about. I'm naming your state. Let's go check out various states instead of all these other places and see what all these other states are about. So that's why my journey, even though it was Cartagena to get the feel of it, my true travel vlog journey started in Cali, Colombia, the state Valle de Cauca. And I started going to different states within Colombia. And like, yo, this is actually pretty dope. I really like this country for what it is. I really did. And that's pretty much where I am now.
So, how long have you been there so far? Now, on your current visit.
Current visit since Sunday.
Okay, so you just got in. How long you plan on staying?
I'm
I
not
mean, I
too
don't know
sure.
exact dates, but I'm like, you staying a month, 6 months, in the
We-
country,
It's
wherever.
going to be, I'm going someplace else, but when Thanksgiving kicks in, I'm going to go with the family. So best believe I'm not going to be here by Thanksgiving.
So, what's your next country that you want to visit after Colombia? Because you've been Colombia. Where else? Where have you been since that's
All right,
past?
cool. So since not not from the creation of the channel, but overall since my life journey, I've been to Italy,
Oh,
I've been to I've been to Italy, Jamaica, Costa Rica, Colombia, Nicaragua, Puerto Rico, and
okay,
that would be it so far.
okay, yeah. And I think, like you said, I think Central America is slept on in the travel community.
Yeah,
And again, like I said, I don't hype it up. I'm like, usually I go back to El Salvador at least once a year because that's where my wife's family is. So we go back and visit that a lot. Beautiful country,
hmm
pretty safe. Only place, San Salvador, which is the city, that's where most of they do have gangs there. But beautiful country, good people. But I think, like you said, Nicaragua, Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras, Guatemala, all of those. And I try to tell guys that travel, I'm like, all of those countries have because a lot of brothers do say, oh, I like the sisters. I'm like, all those countries have an African presence. There were slaves all throughout there. They still exist.
absolutely,
You have Afro-Hondurans, Guatemalans.
absolutely,
Panama's
absolutely.
basically a black country. It's just as black as Haiti. It's just the fact that they speak Spanish. That's it.
hmm
Well, whether their level of denial doesn't matter. They're still a black country. So all throughout Latin America, but I mean, of course, the two big ones is Brazil and Colombia, which I haven't been to either one as of yet. But again, like I said, I tend to want to look for, like I said, I travel with my wife, so I don't do a lot of solo traveling anymore like I used to. Occasionally, I'll take a trip with my sons. I got 5 adult sons. They're like, Pop, let's go here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So I look for, like you said, those, and I did Hako just on a humbug. Nobody told me anything about it. I just sort of like, it was a living social or Groupon special, and I was like, hey, let's go to Costa Rica. Great time, loved it there. But like I tell everybody, it was a big sticker shock, as far as the prices. Because but it wasn't, I tell everybody, I said it's no more than what I'm used to paying in the States. So me and my wife, we're foodies anyway. We like to go out. We go out 2-3 times a week to eat anyway. So if I spend a couple $100 on dinner, that's what I spend. Well, that's what you're going to pretty much, you can spend, upward $150 for a dinner for two in a nice restaurant in Hako. The only thing I didn't like about it, while it is a beach town, I tell people, I'm like, but it's not a swimming beach. It's a surfer's beach. So most of the time when we were there, we couldn't get out into the water because the waves were just too strong. But the surfers was out there 24 hours a day. They love that stuff. They really do love it. Beautiful. Like I said, I don't speak Spanish. My wife, that's her first language, but I felt so safe there. Like a couple of times I was out like, because we stayed at this little called Captain Morgan's, this little resort. A little small, basically, like a 3-star or something. I didn't know anything about it. And I said, I'm going to walk out to the store and get us, some drinks and some food, for later to put back in our room. And I mean, I was out there. I felt just, and it was like, 11, 12 o'clock at night. So you're right. It does change from the daytime to the nighttime, but still, even at nighttime, I didn't feel very afraid walking by myself, not knowing the language. I found it extremely safe. Same thing in San Jose. I was trying to tell Razor too. I'm just like, Razor, it ain't DR prices. It ain't Mexico prices. It's not. Basically, he's from New York. I think you're from New York, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So like, it's not Manhattan prices, but it ain't Mexico. You're gonna need a little bread there. But I think it'll be a great trip. Good content, and it's a lot of stuff to do other than the chicas. Like I said, me and my wife, we did zip lining, we rode ATV, we went on a crocodile tour, horseback riding. It's just an abundance. It's not a very big country, and I try to tell people too, Costa Rica, like I say, its living standard is the highest of all of Central America from all the other countries. For what the government does for a citizen, it has universal health care. So all the citizens got, public health care. I believe they never had a standing army. They never been to war. They had very little gangs. And they were the first country in Latin America to recognize LGBT rights as well. So they're pretty progressive, which I always tell people, that's what factors into the cost. So when you talk about how cheap something is, understand you're not going to get much from government services in those places because the government's not collecting much. When we talk about high cost, overall, the government will provide, like you said, much better police everywhere. But other countries you go to, you might see a police every 3 days. So it's like, there's always a swap off. And for me, safety is the one that I'm not scared, but I got a wife, my most prized possession. So I'm just not going somewhere putting us in reckless situations because I'm either trying to be cheap, stupid, or a false sense of bravado, because as we see with these latest incidents, they don't care. They don't care. They'll take you out. Being an American is no sense of protection. And then there's not a great sense of justice. So these perpetrators of these crimes probably won't even do a whole lot of time. They'll probably be right back out because, as I told somebody, most of their prisons are overcrowded anyway. So they kill you. They might give them 5-10 years. They back on the street because they that's just that sense of justice in those countries. So I try to tell guys, if you're going to travel, educate yourself, like you said, on the country, understand some of the basic laws, and try to learn where to stay away from. This is your best protection, your brain. Use it. Don't let your eyeballs bait you, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's some good advice, good sound advice that you dropped on the Nuggets. And it's midday now, so the traffic is actually increasing now. About to end the live in a bit, so I can prepare to go to my next spot. But I was going to say, I definitely look forward for Razor's experience in Costa Rica, and his opinions on it based on like the work that he does. I'm a fan of Razor. I ain't gonna lie, he's entertaining. and he was one of the first people that recognized my channel before anybody else did. You know, I always have to shout out. I'm gonna definitely always have to shout out Solo Traveler ORD, Razor Rays, um, Marshall Powell, and definitely Check and Effects. These gentlemen, when I'm out there doing the content, like you said, you don't see people doing stuff that I'm doing. These were the guys that recognized me, and then for a while, Razor Rays every stream, whether I'm there or not, which is why I always will respect the brother. Said, look, man, Nate Your State got some good content on Cali, Colombia. You brothers need to check it out. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciated that. You know what I'm saying? Because I really thought that Cali, Colombia was good. Whether people watched or not, I still give those gentlemen props. And then everybody else that follow, that's giving me that's pretty, you know, bigging me up. I respected it for sure. But yeah, I definitely see. I can't wait to see what he has in store for Costa Rica. I'm not sure if you ask me for the next country, I might go back to Costa Rica. I might go back there with Razor Rays. Maybe show him around, or you know, have him figure it out on his own, or like pop in here or there for a day or two. I'm not quite too sure, but at the moment, I haven't really decided as of yet. But I do want to really dive into Nicaragua a lot more because before I think Ace went there, I've always said, you know what, I don't hear anybody talk about Nicaragua. I want to see what it's about. It just so happened that I went to Costa Rica and did more exploring in Costa Rica than Nicaragua. And, you know, and we got Ace that went there as well. But I definitely, Nicaragua is on the list. Then I'm going to do Guatemala. And then I'm like, you know what, man? I'm probably just going to do a whole Central America tour.
Yeah.
Start from Panama, go all the way up to Belize. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
I was saying, you know, and your Spanish is good, right?
Español está un poco bien, pero
Okay.
necesito practicar más.
Then you're good. I would say tap in and some of the Caribbean too as well. Like I said, you didn't mention you went to the DR. I would say definitely visit the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
That's a good country, and it's cheap. I wouldn't recommend Puerto Plata or Sosúa, but I mean, feel free to go there. But that's where all the content is. But there are other parts of the country like Santiago, which is the second biggest city, Santo Domingo, which is the capital, which is popping like crazy. You know, you don't need to worry about like down in Punta Cana. I mean, come, but it's real touristy there, so it's all upscale there. But Santo Domingo, and also like you say, Belize, even some of the countries in the Caribbean, like you said. I tell people, you know, me and my wife, I'm like, hit St. Thomas, St. Croix, you know, Aruba. You know, I want to go to Cuba. That's also a place that I think is pretty good. But Cuba, I've been watching content on it. I just want to go because it's on my bucket list. But I think it's like it's not a passport, bro. I don't think it's not friendly. It's just not a driver right now. The drivers tend to be the DR, Colombia, Brazil on this side, and then Philippines and Thailand in Asia. But the drivers are all driven by this central thing that most of these guys are traveling for because it's flooded with the chicas. And I mean, that's fine there, but there are chicas everywhere. There are chicas in Nicaragua, Honduras, Panama as well, but they just don't get to drive. And I'm kind of glad about it. You know, I wish Colombia wasn't as bad. I'll have to hit you up to, you know, to fill me in on Cali. Is it a little bit more family friendly, or the other places you told me about? Because me and my wife, I'm hoping that we can take that trip, if not next year, 2025 for sure. Because I want to go.
Yeah, I definitely we'll definitely talk more about that too. I might even do another live talking about it as well. But I definitely got you on that. But yeah, Rico, thanks for joining. I'm gonna have to close this stream down because I have to boogie and go to my next location. Appreciate you for jumping up on the panel.
Mm-hmm. Be safe and enjoy yourself, brother. I really appreciate you giving me the time.
Well, thanks for joining on. Appreciate it.
Enjoy your holidays if I don't talk to you before.
We'll do. Appreciate it.
All right. Okay.
All right. So guys, I appreciate everybody that jumped in, whether you liked, comment, and subscribe, or drop the like. It's been cool. It's midday. Once again, I'm going to my next location. I like to really show off Airbnbs and places that I stay in the last day, but I'm just going to do that in the video. I'm not going to do it in my live. I have clothes still over the place, and I'm supposed to be out here in the next 30 minutes or so. So I'm going to another spot that's going to be more my speed and relaxing. Might be a little smaller, but we'll see how it is. I got my groceries and stuff together. And yeah, man, I'll hit you guys up maybe Friday, maybe I don't know. I will hit you guys up later on, let you know where I'm at. And yeah, we'll keep in touch. Yo, once again, thank you so much for watching this live stream on my videos. Keep eating, keep exploring. I'll see you guys in the next live or the next video. Take it easy. Take care.